creating your own custom font suite, which if you have not done any graphic design might be like, what am I doing here? Listen, I'm gonna take you through baby steps. Don't be scared. This should be so exciting. So exciting, because this is the step where we are not just taking your inspiration boards and your mood boards, but we are nailing down some like big girl, big boy elements that you are going to continue to use. Now, I say continue to use, but let me put this out there first. And everything that we are committing to in these next days, like font choices, color choices, style, this is not forever. A built brand needs to be consistent. It can't change all the time. But I will tell you that when I became a Beachbody coach, I had no idea, first of all, what I was doing, like that I needed to brand myself. I didn't know who I was really, because this was a personal brand and I was leading a team. I didn't know I didn't know me. Okay, so when we're picking fonts, especially if this is your first time branding a company, then you have to be willing to fail forward. So I want you to commit to doing your best, but then if you hate what you've done after 4 months, then now you know the process and you can just change it, okay? Because really, I think it takes about a year for a coach that's being really consistent to find their voice. So don't tell yourself you're gonna change this in a year, but if you need to, it's okay. But we are gonna make choices. I suggest for your brand that you pick one from each of the three. You never want more than 3 fonts, like on a board, on anything. Never more than 3 fonts. And you don't want 2 serifs or 2 sans serifs or 2 scripts on the same piece. Never. So what I like you to do is pick one of each. 1 serif, 1 sans serif, and 1 ornamental or script font. And so the beauty of this is once you pick these, then you know exactly what they are. So anytime you need to make a piece, you go right to those ones. And so what I usually do is I use me personally, you're gonna have your main one. My main one is a sans serif, a bold sans serif. And I'll show you which one it is. You'll probably recognize it. It's this Bebas Nui right here. This is my main one. And then my secondary one is this one, the serif. And then my ornamental is this Besam one. So that's what I do. And that's how I carry out my branding, is by always using those fonts. But if I use a lot of this Besam one, it's going to look just like really amateur and not good. I don't use it a lot. It's my logo, so if I'm going to add it in, it's as my logo or it's as like a little sidebar piece. So we're not going to go into designing right now a lot, but I'm going to show you how to kind of explore and pick your font. So first of all, you want to look at your branding boards or your mood boards and see what types of fonts you are drawn to. And you will start to see, commonalities. And so then I suggest you go to several of these websites if you want to write them down. One is Duff Font, and these are free, which is great. So you're going to just download the font, and then once it's downloaded, most of the time in most programs on your computer, like Word and things, it will update, and then I will show you in a different video how you would upload these to Canva. Another one I use a lot is My Fonts, and so you can just search by going to hot new fonts, what's new, what the font, they kind of give you different ideas, bestsellers. I mean, you can spend forever on here, you can make albums. Google Fonts is a really good idea because a lot of what you do on websites and in apps and that kind of thing, if you're not using Photoshop and advanced tools, you're only going to have the choices from like Google Fonts. And so filters, you can see serif, sans serif, display. So that's something that's like a little bit more flashy, a little more ornamental, but not really handwriting. And so like, okay, I want to use my serif. So this would actually be a great one to just honestly stick with. There's not as many choices, but it's a good one to start with because this is what's going to be available on most of your apps. And so they're just all slightly different, but what you can do is you can write in your name, and then you can see what it looks like and see how they all give it a little bit more of personality. This one's a little bit more vintage and darling. This one's pretty light and fun. These ones are a little bit more sophisticated. This one gives it real bold. So they're just slightly different. This one's really bold. And so you just want to play with it and see. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll screen capture. If I like one, I'll screen capture it. I'll screen capture it, and then I could go on to the next category, sans serif, and I'll look at those. Oh, I like this. And then I'll use some type of app like Canva or something like that, and I'll upload those screenshots and I'll kind of just look at them together. Some other websites real quick. So this is behance.net, typography.com, google.com/fonts, myfonts.com, dafont.com. So these are some of my go-tos that I do, and I mean, it can take a while to do some of the research and find what you like, but definitely pick something that is original and not what I'm doing, not what everybody else is doing, but really resonates, and it's going to help you if you made the mood board and if you made that brand synthesis, if you added those popular brands into your board, because you're probably going to be really drawn to their logo. And we're not talking logos right now, and the reason we're not talking logos is because for two reasons. One is because I believe that it's really best to invest in a professional logo, and there's a good chance that you're not financially ready to do that. And the second one is, even if you are, there's a good chance that you are not aware of your brand and voice and what people want from you enough yet to make that investment. There's a good chance that I will have my logo redone at some point, but I want to make sure that I really I've kind of felt it out. So I took a long time designing mine. I did, and I'm happy with it, but that's why we're not focusing on brand name right now, and we're not focusing on logo there. There is what most major brands have, a logo type, okay? So like I said, Gap, Anthropologie, Kate Spade, Bando, I had showed you Bando, their type font, all lowercase, and it's got a dot in there, band.do, it's all lowercase. That's their typography, or their logo type, logo font right there. And so that's what it is. It can stand alone without the heart. It doesn't have to have like a unicorn or fish or a branch. I think a lot of times when we think logo, we think all of that, but that actually limits us as far as long-term branding. So I really think it's best that you just pick a strong font and you play with the uppercase, lowercase, ampersands, or add a little dot in there, or a dash, or a little heart somewhere. And those are things that can really easily be removed, or even if they're not there, those aspects aren't there, that people will know that it's your brand. All right, get to it.